What conspiracy theory do you completely believe is true? The government was behind #Throwback Thursday in order to get us to digitize and upload pictures that they would not have had access to in order to help improve age progression/facial recognition algorithms. Like Facebook's 10-year challenge. Why not just use driver's licenses? Doesn't go back past 16ish, but you have the data and it updates every time people renew. Social media companies are manipulating people towards supporting the candidate of their choice. Whether it's Biden or Trump, I honestly can't say. It seems like they'd hate Trump, but he's wonderful at driving social media activity. But we do know, Facebook has a history of manipulating users' emotions. https://www.theatlantic.com/technology/archive/2014/06/everything we know about Facebook's secret mood manipulation experiment/373648/. Watch the great hack. That there's no brilliant people working behind the scenes. Our government and world leaders are full of bored people of moderate intelligence, coasting and growing off of years of structure already in place. https://www.google.com/amp/s/politics.theonion.com/smart qualified people behind the scenes keeping Amory 18195717006/amp. Edit. You guys, I got multiple awards for the first time TISM. That makes so much sense. Obviously there are smart people out there. IT guys, scientists, but not who we are trying to perceive them all as. Not a specific theory, but I have no doubt that the majority of leaks for the entertainment industry, video games, movies, TV, etc., are completely purposeful and meant to gauge general opinions before official announcements. Edit. Spelling. Thanks for my first ever awards. They're called trial balloons and they absolutely exist. They exist in politics. They exist in products. They exist in every industry with any amount of money. The government is spying on us, the Patriot Act is terrible, and somebody is most likely watching me right now. Oh, wait, I forgot, that one was already proven. And the guy who proved it is currently living in exile in Russia because the US government wants to criminally convict him for exposing their illegal spying. And nobody cares. Edit. It's hugely surprising to me that people are only hearing about this for the first time. The person I'm talking about is Edward Snowden. https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/Edward_Snowden. His whistleblowing efforts are like one of the most important things to have happened in the 21st century. The US government is trying to paint him as a criminal, when the reality is he's probably the greatest living American patriot for the sacrifices he has made for not only the American people, but for people everywhere, in exposing a US-run global network of illegal surveillance. Julian Assange. https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/Julian_Assange is another activist who exposed US government war crimes and whose life has been destroyed because of it. Nobody cares about that either, but they most definitely should. Edit 2. Shills and people who view the world through Fox News will attempt to paint both of these people in a negative light, but a small amount of independent research will show you that what I'm saying is emphatically true. We care. There are just very few of us. I believe conspiracy theories are the ultimate conspiracy. They send the message that there is some invisible hand controlling things, meaning there's nothing you can do to change it. They instill complacency. Yeah, and I agreed with a dude a while back who said he thinks the term was coined in a way to make conspiracy theorists look like tinfoil hat wearing crazies so no one would take any conspiracies seriously. Maybe not Tupac. But at least one celebrity has faked their death and is still out there. If it's anyone, it's Andy Kaufman. Kaufman sure seems like the most likely to do such a thing. This https://www.youtube.com/watch v=sqtf formgta is a bit spooky when you think about it. On the other hand, Kaufman's siblings would have to be in on it. They've all made statements that they watched him deteriorate from cancer in a way that can't be faked and attended his open casket funeral. My personal opinion, Kaufman was believed to have died in 1984. He was such a troll, it's doubtful he could have kept his mouth shut and stayed hidden until 1985, let alone past 1999 when Man in the Moon came out in theaters. The Department of Transportation bought way too many orange barrels, so most of them have to be stored on highways. You deserve an upvote. I literally travel past miles of barrels on a daily basis and rarely see anyone working. I saw a really informative response about this the other day. I wish I could even remember what sub it was in. But the part that stuck with me was they said they'll put the barrels out once to avoid moving them on and off the road repeatedly, and that in the early phases of construction a lot of the work is surveying etc. and then waiting for approvals or whatever. So somebody is out there for an hour or two infrequently during a week or month, but the time and cost/labor to move the barrels back and forth doesn't make it worth it for brief trips. The lost cosmonauts. I think it's absolutely possible that there were attempts by the SSSR to launch manned aircraft into space before Gagarin and that some of the cosmonauts died. This one's been bouncing around, but given how much we now know about the Soviet space program after the USSR collapse, including the details of embarrassing failures like Soyuz 1, it seems odd that this in particular would be so completely concealed. I think this one doesn't hold up for the same reason that the fake moon landing conspiracy doesn't hold up. The other side would have found out and would have shouted it from the rooftops for propaganda purposes. The Big Mac has gotten smaller so McDonald's saves some money. I dunno, but I swear the Big Mac used to be bigger. Or maybe I am just fatter. This is a pretty common business tactic, and there's been a hell of a lot of research into it. Companies know consumers are happier paying the same amount for a, often unnoticeable, reduced portion rather than seeing a price increase for the same item. It's called shrinkflation. Shelley Miscavige is either dead or being held prisoner by the Church of Scientology. Aren't they the only two options available for her? Witness protection, I guess. It sounds crazy, but I'm getting a sneaking suspicion that the Earth just might be spherical after all. Fools. All of you fools. It's a donut. https://www.vice.com/n_us/article/mbayakate/ apparently some people believe the Earth is shaped like a donut 1. The CIA is responsible for the crack epidemic. That one's partially true. One single thing can't be entirely responsible, but the CIA was involved. The question is whether it was knowingly or unknowingly. And it's far from the only drug trafficking the CIA took part in. https://ipc.org/the_CIA_contras_gangs_and_crack/. Vietnam War enters the chat. Disney absolutely believed that Hillary Clinton was going to win the 2016 election, so they started building her animatronic for the Hall of Presidents well in advance, and after Trump pulled off a victory, instead of starting from scratch they just kinda made a couple half-assed adjustments to the Hillary model and put it up on stage. https://static.independent.co.uk/thumbnails/image/2017/12/19/22/DonaldTrumpRobot.jpg. Edit, thanks for all the awards. I know I'm not the first person to ever notice this, or even the first to post about it on Reddit, but I'm glad I was able to introduce it to so many people. I read this and immediately didn't believe it, then I saw the picture. Either this theory is 100% true or Disney, the undisputed pioneers in everything theme park related, suddenly became the worst engineers in the world for exactly as long as it took to build this animatronic. Epstein didn't kill himself. I read this as Einstein didn't kill himself and thought, wait, people think Einstein died of suicide? Slight edit to improve clarity of language. Einstein was going to tell people about the black patents. Inventions that the Swiss government could never allow to be revealed. He was removed, quietly. I got a pretty harmless one. Stevie Wonder can see. The world's elites are in on it, which almost got blown open when George W. Bush waved at him. Edit, big thanks to all my Stevie Wonder truthers out there. Thank you all for this interesting dialogue. Didn't Shaq say he ran into him in an elevator once and Stevie Wonder said, "Hey, Shaq," before Shaq said anything? That's crazy. The odds of him just guessing it was him must be like finding a needle in a haystack. Removed. Solid conspiracy. That the CIA let JFK get assassinated. Wait, I actually am curious about this one. Look up the podcast Death is Just Around the Corner, specifically their JFK series. It's quite long, 5 parts each at around 90 minutes. But it's incredibly informative. The narrator is quick to point out what is speculation, what there is factual evidence for, and what comes from the official narrative. The gist of it is that JFK kept on working against the CIA, in multiple ways, like de-escalating the Cold War as well as trying to put the CIA under the control of the executive branch, and was made an example of. Lee Harvey Oswald was almost certainly a CIA asset. Unrelated to JFK, but Manson was also almost certainly a CIA asset. Some good investigative journalism just came out on this within the last year actually, and if you look into the official record of some of the stuff the CIA was doing, MK Ultra, giving black neighborhoods syphilis to see what would happen, Iran-Contra, etc., and consider the fact that nobody that oversaw those crimes was ever punished anything more than administratively, it seems pretty naive to me that they would have stopped doing that kind of thing. I mean, there are people instrumental in the Iran-Contra affair that are in the Trump administration right now. Lol. Edit. If you can't sit through 7 hours of content, I think you can start with episode 4 and get enough out of it to walk away. The big picture. The first 3 really help put things into context though. Reddit is run by a single collage student that has no clue how to make a search bar. r/collage for colorful and intriguing collages. A one-stop shop for your collage viewing needs. Calling healthcare workers heroes is a deliberate ploy by the powers that be, so that at the end of all this COVID shit and there is a pile of us dead, the conversation isn't about how the government and hospitals fucked up, but our heroic sacrifice. My husband is a nurse. I'm tired of the admins at the hospital he works at calling him a fucking hero and patting him on the back, telling him that nurses are the backbone of the hospital but paying him shit money. If nurses are such heroes, then they should be paid accordingly. 6 long years of grueling school and he makes so little that our family of 5 is still under the poverty line. And that is fucked up. My conspiracy theory is that nurses are given so much praise and positive attention by the healthcare industry so that people will overlook the fact that they are wildly overworked and underpaid. The government constantly reposts this question to see what we know. No, we don't do that at all. Edit, I mean they. Hashtag the truth has slipped through the tongues. Automobile and oil companies have been working to impede or hide developments in renewable energy solutions. There is actually a lot of evidence for this. I was a climate activist before seeing it, but the Years of Living Dangerously documentary series pretty well confirmed to me that big oil, gas, and coal companies are standing in the way of renewable energy solutions. Which is dumb because you'd think they'd want to pioneer those fields and define legislature before anyone can say free energy. This is the smallest conspiracy ever, but, you know how when you pull a tissue out of a box, there's this dust that comes out from the tissue when it scrapes the perforated edge? I swear it's designed like that so that the dust makes you sneeze. And then suddenly you need more tissues. Rise up against big tissue. Finally someone said something about this. There's too much dust in general on tissues, it all gets fucking stuck in my nose and I'm back where I started. Switch to napkins bro. Ancestry DNA and the rest of those ancestry websites are run by the government to have access to people's DNA to cross-reference crimes etc. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's in the fine print when you use their services. That's how they caught the Golden State Killer. College Board isn't non-profit. Every high school student just sighed in understanding. Teachers too. I used to start my AP Psych class. Do you want to pass a test, or learn some sweet crap about your brain? Once I knew the 2 kids who cared about the test, the class was super fun, and I just gave extra test prep to the kids who wanted it. Usually had a handful pass and none of the bullshit teaching to a test. Women's clothes have small/non-existent pockets to make us buy purses. Edit, if this is enough to set you to go off on a sexist rant, please reevaluate your life choices. I used to work with someone who would just take her pants to a tailor and they would make the pockets bigger for just a few bucks. She said it was not just to make it more convenient for her, but also to stick it to the fashion industry. I cannot emphasize enough how life-changing a good tailor is. Sizes are cookie cutter, people are not. A few dollars makes a cheap bargain basement item look much more expensive than it is because it fits you, not someone your approximate size. Conspiracy theories seem to pale in their outlandishness when compared to actual history. Or honestly these days, just the news. Reality is stranger than fiction. Fiction has to be believable, reality does not. J. Edgar Hoover had ties to the mob and gave preferential treatment to certain crime families/organizations while crushing others. Also, his stranglehold on American intelligence made him a figure presidents feared. My understanding was that, specifically, the mob had photos of him and his boyfriend doing, boyfriend stuff. Which is a pretty intense threat when you're the no queers or commies guy. They had a habit of staying at a mob-owned hotel together. Awful compromising position to put yourself in if you're the surveillance czar, and a hell of a coincidence at that. The US military is a huge lobbyist behind not adopting socialized healthcare and college because those are the 2 main reasons that people join the military. With socialized healthcare and college, recruit numbers would plummet, and we would no longer be the military powerhouse that we currently are. This is the first time I've ever heard this, and it's so obviously true. A lot of entertainment companies are money laundering fronts. Don't even get me started on Entertainment 720. Prestige Worldwide 2.